Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very, very, very well. It is election day in America, and I know that a lot of people, as in most people, are very anxious today. And so I wore my little America top to kind of send love to all the Americans today. Hope you're all doing good. Oh, hello. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about Rosanna Pansino. So she has made this new video where she is coming after Logan Paul. And the reason for this is because Logan Paul has recently made a video in which he calls her out, and he calls her like a clout goblin, or like a money hungry clout goblin, or whatever he calls. And let me tell you something. I have a deep sisterhood towards anyone that gets called like a clout goblin in any way, because it is one of the names that gets attached to me so deeply online. So whenever I see someone else being called it, I'm like, twin, where have you been? Like, I feel such a deep sisterhood. So anyways, I'm like, me and Ro, I'm like, babe, I got your back in this. So we're gonna get to the video, but also Ro has done an interview, which I think is really good, with an employee of one of the stores that Logan Paul kind of blew up on when people were saying that Lunchly was discontinued. Now, a lot of people were speculating that Lunchly, the ever so yummy, yummy, yummy in my tummy, got discontinued because it was, being taken from shelves and all like this. And I guess one of these employees that had covered this, Logan Paul very much so attacked him. And now we have Ro interviewing him, and I think it's really important that Ro did this, and major, major, major props to her, because this is so important, because it breaks the barrier of showing you that there are real life implications to when Logan Paul takes to TikTok to do a little rant at someone or expose someone who isn't online and what they have to deal with, and that they are just a regular person trying to live their life, and now they're at the forefront of so much hate because you actively chose to put them in that. So we're going to talk about it all. I think that this is a really good video from Ro. I'm excited to watch it again with you guys. I want to give a quick little heads up that tickets for the tour, my little tour that I'm doing in America, are on sale right now. I will see you all in February. Thank you so much to everyone who has gotten their tickets. I'm very, very, very excited. We are going to Brooklyn, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles, and Dallas. And we are adding extra shows. And I said this in my videos yesterday, but we are currently deciding where to go. We kind of have a list and we're narrowing it down. So let me know if there is any special desires for me to go to any city in particular. And again, I cannot wait to meet all the muckers. This is going to be so exciting. So that is in February. Tickets are down below. Also, my second channel, I'm now posting on every single day. I've posted like fucking 4 videos in the last 4 days or something like that. It'll be linked down below as well. But anyways, let's get to this video from Rosanna Pansino. All right. It's called Logan Paul Went Too Far. Let's get it.
So apparently Logan Paul took the time to make a cringe-filled video attacking me and a Fred Meyer Kroger employee, but didn't take the time to address.
Also, in my video, I said how people were getting Lunchly at Kroger. What isn't it called? The shop. And I was like, what the hell? People told me to get it at Ralph's. So I went all these Ralph's. People let me know that Kroger and Ralph's are like owned by the same person. So I'm up to speed now. I'm up to speed.
Dress their moldy Lunchlys.
The fly sound effects.
To respond to whatever word salad Logan Paul came up with, but I'm also going to be interviewing the Fred Meyer employee that Logan Paul publicly mocked in his video to get their perspective.
Ultimately, it was a dehumanizing thing to see myself used as a puppet, because that's exactly what he was doing. He was using me as a caricature.
All right, this is the best one yet. According to ex-users, various retail stores have recalled Lunchly products due to FDA's concerns. The sign in the tweet reads, due to public health concerns, the FDA has recalled Lunchly products. We will restock as soon as deemed fit for consumption and ship through our warehouses.
But that's so weird, because FDA recalls are public by law. And as you can see, Lunchly is not on the FDA recall list.
So hold up, that means that this sign is fake.
That is true. The sign that was posted on social media was not accurate. If he would have left it at that, I actually think this could have been a decent response. But let's be honest, Logan is not a decent dude.
Somebody.
If there's one thing Ro is going to do is throw up that Japan vlog. Yeah, so to get us up to speed, it had been said online that Lunchly was recalled. A big reason for this was this sign that was put up saying by the FDA. Logan Paul responds by saying, like we just saw, it would be public knowledge. So it was not true that Lunchly got recalled. Even though in my personal opinion, why is it so moldy? Maybe it should be. Also, Logan Paul's responding and being like, we, check everything so well and the control is great. But, obviously we don't have control whenever it's packaged, or being sent around, being distributed, sorry, is the word. they have control until the packaging, but whenever it's distributed, they have no control over that. And I'm like, well, wouldn't you maybe change your packaging then if so many people are experiencing mold in their food? And you're saying that there's not an issue whenever it's at year end, but whenever it gets to the stores, there's an issue. So maybe there's an issue in the packaging. Wouldn't you want to recall and change that? Or is this just another cash grab for the kids? Damn, I really, really, really want to go back to America so that I can go to all my Kroger's and Ralph's and stuff like that, and I want to buy as many of them bitches as possible to see which one I get mold in. You know what? I'll still eat it. I'm kidding.
Typed up and printed out a 100% lie about Lunchley being recalled, taped it to the fridge, then a picture of it was taken by someone else and posted on social media as if it were real. Community notes, where you at?
Anyway, I had my forensics team look into it, and they were able to find the exact location where this allegedly took place by photo matching the tweet with the gray door handle and the sales labels. Then we cross-referenced it with the locations that we distribute to.
It's a Fred Meyer, and I had someone go there. Boom, exact match. Same door handle, same tag, same products even, but hold on, where is the FDA recall sign?
Also, we can see the sales data. After Lunchley was recalled, it wasn't, but after that sign was posted, we continued to sell out all of the Lunchleys that hit the shelves in that store.
So who put that fake sign up?
Turns out it was an employee named...
This is not good. This is not good. This is not good. Rule 101, when you are a public figure, is you pick and choose your battles on who you want to expose, if you're going to name them or not, or if you're going to show their face or not. This is a battle even I've had to, learn my lesson on multiple times whenever I've came for people. But me and Logan Paul are on two very different sides. And I also don't have like a rampant child audience that are going to attack you. But this is so bad. First of all, Logan has probably not spoken to this employee before he made this video, so doesn't understand the reasons for the poster being up. Yes, the poster should not have been put up. It was an error on the store. It was an error on whoever did it. Whether it was this guy, yes, there was an error. But making a public video, and the way it's been set up so far is that you are the underdog and you're the victim, and putting it on one person, one regular person who does not have a social media presence, is just trying to work their shift at the job. Therefore, and you've literally doxed them as well. You've said the store that they work at, and people can then go and harass this person because of lunch. Like, the audacity of these creators. This is why it's so great that Ro has given this person a platform and interviewed them, because it shows us and humanizes these people that we see on a TikTok being exposed and we think nothing of. These are day-to-day people just trying to live their fucking life.
Who said this when we confronted him, and I quote,
It's pretty upsetting that Logan Paul is showing the outside of the store as well as posting pictures from the employee's personal social media account. Was that really necessary? No. It is super creepy for a massive public persona to go to a private individual's social media accounts and then post pictures of them publicly to shame them.
That was like kind of rumorized, I guess, through around here, but we had seen a posting about that, but I was the one who had written that. But since we got Lunchley back, it's been taken down. When it comes down to the actual, accountability of...
And again, this full mouth opening making fun of the employee is just so bad. And obviously it's been censored now, but
it was a rumor that was up in the air. Since we had heard that the FDA whole thing was kaput, we took it down. Yeah, it was more of like it wasn't like a anyway. Hater or dumbass? I don't know, maybe both. Oh, and I also saw this video.
As of right now, it is believed that all of the Lunchleys are being discontinued in various stores.
Yeah, that's also not true. Turkey Stack'ems are not discontinued. Stores are selling them as we speak, and they're also still on Kroger's website, which would be crazy for an item that's discontinued.
Hey, and look, I know some people are driving up to 130 miles just to find Lunchley.
But please, be...
In reference to Ro's tweet saying, I've drove for 120 miles to different stores to look for Lunchley Turkey Stack'em, which, I mean, he did kind of eat there. Ro, I love you, girl, but he really did get your ass there, I'm gonna be honest. But the next thing he says, he calls her a clout goblin, and I'm like, as someone the internet has also deemed a clout goblin, it's me and Ro, like, I'm defending her on this. But him being like, I know people are driving 120 miles for these is quite funny.
Patient as we try to ramp up production to meet the demand. But it's just crazy to me that we're a $4 lunch kit, and in the first 4 weeks, our headquarters had a bomb threat.
$4 lunch kit. I got my shit for $1.
The FBI has identified the individual. He's based in London, which is crazy because we don't even distribute there. A fabricated FDA recall that never happened. An attention-hungry little clout goblin who has made it her entire identity to speak negatively on all things Mr. Beast.
An attention-hungry clout goblin? I literally...
You better gather his ass, Ro! You better gather his ass!
Spoiler alert, that's you guys, not me. You can't come up with an original song. Didn't you literally get sued for copying someone else? Then you can't come up with an original food line. And now you can't even come up with an original insult for me. Boom, what's this? This is when I called you a money goblin.
An attention-hungry little clout goblin.
She goes, please don't use what I've called you. She gathered his ass here. Wait, I see the... Bravo. Well played.
I think there's someone hanging right there.
An attention-hungry little clout goblin.
Coffeezilla, you're slimiest.
Thank you, Coffeezilla. And I am very grateful for your work and your investigation.
An attention-hungry little clout goblin.
Also the Fiesta Nachos, my personal favorite.
Clout goblin.
Yeah, like I like my cheese moldy, bro.
Clout goblin. Clout goblin. Clout goblin.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
And we'd love to think this is all just a coincidence.
The editors gagged there.
But in that, we call it cap.
The fact is, the USDA inspects every finished food lot and approves it before even leaving our facility.
And yes, it's possible that issues happen in transit, like a seal breaking or at the store level with rough handling. But just
Okay, but that is on your packaging for not... Why are the Lunchables able to make it to the store without mold, but your ones aren't? That is an error in the product, whether it's the packaging or the actual product, so that is on you. So I don't understand, like, hello, like, anyone up there? Like, I'm trying to knock and I can't hear anything. Like, hello up there, hello. You just admitted that there is some sort of problem with that last stage, which falls on your packaging.
it's like any produce you buy, problems can arise.
Did he seriously just call his Lunchly product produce? Logan, did you even do a Google search before making this video? Ultra-processed foods, which Lunchlys are, they fall in that category, are not produce. To imply that Lunchly is just like any other produce you buy is misleading. I also find it pretty interesting that he seemed to be basically blaming how their product is shipped or handled by the store partners for the mold. Do you think it's possible that they weren't packaged the best at the source, Logan?
But at the end of the day, the product speaks for itself. In our first 5 weeks in Kroger, we've already outsold Lunchables and comparable SKUs that also sell drinks.
Okay, you can outsell, but that doesn't take away from the fact that there's moldy product. You know what I mean? This just goes to show that all you care about is the sales and you don't care about the product. So don't try to defend the product for being good when we know that you don't even think it's good.
We're going to keep innovating and improving our product as we attempt to disrupt this archaic industry that's been run by the same corporate giants for the
Disrupt the industry who's been ran by corporate giants. Mr. Beast and Logan Paul and KSI. Okay, great.
past 120 years. It is a new era, and the ops are going to have to try harder.
All right, now without further ado, let's get to the interview.
Very cringy.
Casey, who works at Fred Meyer and is the one who posted the sign, and his partner Riz. So, Casey, can you tell us a little about yourself?
So I moved to the area about 3 years ago. Started working at Fred Meyer again. I had worked there a couple of years ago, and
I'm obsessed with her organizing this interview. May God never send me an op like her.
Started with like overnight freight and was just, stocking shelves at the overnight hours and stuff. And then eventually the opportunity came for me to actually get promoted and start management over there. So I became their closing relief manager, which basically means I oversee the intake of freight and everything. But basically, I worked really hard to get to where I am.
Obsessed with this. Ask me about free flu vaccines. Ask pharmacy for details. He's never off the clock. He's promoting.
And I met her very recently. And so I've started the family life and started being a father to her children, or rather a stepfather, and finding my place in things and really finding where I belong. And it's been really an enriching experience.
I'm obsessed with the way the partner is just right here.
She's been wonderful with my dogs, which I treat like children. And I've been trying to be as good as I can for her children as well. But But yeah, so, just typical guy, decided to focus up on the things that I can control and the things that matter to me. And overall, that meant having a family and settling down. And, ultimately,
Okay, whatever.
that it was on the recall list. So in charge of overseeing pulling the recalled items from the shelves and posting signs. I had finished a bunch of different products on the aisles near the Lunchley section. And as I was passing by, I noticed that it was completely empty and that there was some, this item is temporarily out of stock stickers. So I was curious because I had noticed that had been out for a while. And I walked up to my boss and asked, should I post a sign, do you think? And he's like, well, it's going to take me a sec because I'm super busy. I'm going to have to look for the sign, but I do believe that it was on the recall list. So you can go ahead and do that. And I will I will find the actual recall notice and put it up. And if it's not been, I'll pull it down. And we're like, yeah, great. And, within a few days, we had been shipped new Lunchley products. So they had been stacked up and we pulled the sign down. Actually, I didn't even pull the sign down. Somebody else did. I came to work and saw it had been pulled down and they had been stocked. So I was like, oh, great, cool. More product to sell. Great. Then suddenly, out of the blue, I heard that somebody had taken a photo of this and posted it online.
Okay, so here we're seeing what happened. The boss said that they were going to put a sign up because they, heard that it was on the recall list, but they need to look up to it, and basically said, do you want to do it? And he said, yeah, and did it. And that's what happened. And Logan Paul blew this up in the entire thing. And they took it down when they got more product.
I found this out by a Lunchley's representative that came into my work at 9 at night and was asking me a bunch of really odd questions. And it was starting to get a little borderline harassing.
Not a Lunchley representative showing up at your workplace so late at night. That's fucking terrifying.
Because I was in the back room and he followed me into the back room to ask me if I had known about numerous different people, specifically this other person named Casey, which I thought was strange because I was like, not all Caseys know each other. You know that, right? And so I was like, because he kept asking me about my Twitter presence, which is non-existent. I don't have a Twitter account. This guy asked me a bunch of questions regarding Lunchley, and then I brought him over to the Lunchley section per his request, and I was like, see, it actually still has some on the shelf here, and as you can see, there is which is funny because the photos that they sent showed that it was out of stock, even though there was one in stock when they were there. But in any case, there was no sign there. The sign had been pulled down, as I had told him. It had been pulled down within a few days. And that overall, it was a mistake that I made in the process of recalls. However, it was an approved mistake through my manager. And when it came down to it, we both shared repercussions in the whole thing.
What were the repercussions that happened?
Okay, so basically this person did something per the request or per the judgment of their manager, and he's the one that's on social media being fucking flamed for it. Like, fuck you, Logan Paul.
After the Lunchley rep left.
So I had my 2 days off because he came in on my Friday, to which I prepared for Halloween as normal, as everything as planned. Out of the blue, this video just suddenly hits me, and I show up to it had been seen by everybody at work, so everybody already knew what was up, and everybody was acting like somebody had died around me.
This makes me so fucking sad because, again, it's like the power that these creators have to change people's lives, and they always do it that'll affect it in a negative way. Logan Paul can quickly make that video where he's literally like doxing where this person is and their face and name and everything, and then he can go on with his life. Meanwhile, this person is facing repercussions because of literally a mistake that multiple people made. And the sign was taken down.
Just some jerk on the internet. And basically they all kind of tiptoed around me, and then I got called into HR. Or rather, I had insisted talking to HR about it because I wanted to know if I was okay to work. And then she told me to return. I got called in, and then when it came to the conversation, they were very warm about it. They're like, look, we kind of have to suspend you just because we don't know what else to do. This has never happened in the entirety of
A suspension over a mistake because Logan Paul blew this up.
the company's history. And we're trying to, mitigate your suffering when it comes to the community, because there are people who have seen this and will recognize you. Even though I'd shaved my beard, and even though I was wearing a beanie pretty low over my face and everything, it was still
literally the person is in a way wearing a disguise so that they're not immediately recognizable. This just day-to-day person who's trying to fucking work their job because of Logan Paul being butthurt over a mistake. And when they got more products, they took the fucking sign down. When the Lunchly representative showed up, we're told the sign wasn't even up.
wasn't enough. And, I stand by my company's decision, because ultimately they are doing damage control. Their name was thrown under the bus too. The Fred Meyer name, which I've trusted pretty much my entire life, is suddenly under fire as well.
I grew up in Seattle, Washington. I love Fred Meyer.
Speaking of Seattle, I'm going there on tour. Y'all better come.
Shop there all the time. I'm a big Freddy's fan. What's on your list today?
I actually need y'all to come because out of all the shows, it's selling the fucking worst. Seattle motherfuckers, show out. Rosanna, do you want to go back home and come to the show?
Hey, you'll find it at Fred Meyer. That jingle is in my head for the rest of my life.
The days where you could push the button and hear the talking cows.
Wow. Are you being paid right now while you're on leave?
I'm not, no. I'm not being paid. Basically, they gave me suspension without pay, and it's pending investigation. So
pending investigation, or that's pending investigation. Suspension with no pay over Logan Paul blowing something up that didn't need to have been blown up. And he actively made that decision. These creators who have the power are they're just awful. They are truly awful.
If I do go back to work, if they allow me to come back to work, they'll determine how much time I should have been suspended for and then back pay me. However, with there being a controversy at this Freddy's already, I don't know how well that whole thing is going to play out for me.
Is it normal for a brand rep to approach you unannounced, like in that way?
It depends. So sometimes we'll be approached by a brand rep, but it's never usually a confrontational thing. And this very much reeked of that, to the point where the people at the front end that had nothing to do with the conversation, even before the conversation had started, were kind of uneased by the representative even being there.
Again, using this method of trying to scare people or trying to suppress people. This is just what these big creators that people idolize do, and it sucks, man.
Because he didn't really have a friendly presence. So it was one of those things that typically when it comes to the people coming through as representatives, they're trying to set up a display to sell something. And so we were going forth when it came to the Lunchly's thing. He said, "Hi, I'm a representative of Lunchly's," and we're like, "Oh, okay, hey." And we assumed he wanted to set up some kind of display. And then suddenly he's like, "I heard about this picture." We're like, "What picture?" And he shows us this photo. We're like, "Oh, well, what's up?" And yeah, it was an odd thing. Is just that because usually they also operate within business hours, which 9 o'clock at night was not business hours. And I gave them my my information, my full name, because they had asked to be able to communicate through my corporate office, which they did lodge a complaint the next day. But this was right before launching the giant video smearing me all over the internet.
Right.
So yeah, it was unprecedented because they did both. They technically did travel through the proper channel, but then immediately went to just completely bashing me and bullying me all over the internet.
Again, going to show that there was no real ambition for Logan Paul or anything to do this professionally. It's all about smearing people and making yourself the underdog and making yourself the victim. And when are people gonna have enough? Like, seriously, when are people going to have enough whenever it comes to Logan Paul doing stuff like this? Suspended with no leave, getting a complaint by HR, getting a video that goes viral smearing you for the sake of doing what your manager was basically advising you to do, and then taking the sign down before the Lunchly person even came in, having the Lunchly person come in and confront you at 9 p.m. at night. Like, this is so fucked up and weird.
It's like, whoa, dude, like, seems like kind of a disproportionate response for someone who hates on Karens so much to act like one.
Did Logan Paul ever reach out to you?
Personally, no. He just sent his representative to get information, and then from what I could tell, the entirety of his video was based off of like the first 30 seconds of our interaction where I was caught off guard.
But also, asking for this person's full name and all this, was that then just to be used by Logan Paul to expose him? Just this regular employee? What the fuck?
And then after also pressing me for the same answer over and over until they got a very simplified version of it, because what I had said on to them was that it was a mistake on my behalf, to which I will ask my managers to retrain me on the recalling process, and overall it will not happen again, and I can see how it affected your brand negatively. So I definitely don't have a reason not to move forward in that way. I definitely see how I did wrong, and yeah, we'll go from there, and definitely send an email.
But before this person was even able to acknowledge that, they were being smeared online by one of the biggest creators.
Email to my managers and get the whole thing straightened out. And I thought that they were going to operate in good faith is the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, how many Lunchly items total do you think that your store received? Like, Logan showed about $100 in sales at your store. Is that roughly accurate?
I would say so. Ultimately, it didn't seem like the sign had any effect on his sales, and even he in his own video said that. He pointed out that the sales weren't affected by this whole thing. So I'm a little confused as to the anger and the frustration coming from him.
It's just to be an underdog and a victim.
Make mistakes, right? And that I'm not an idiot just because I made a mistake.
Right.
Calling me a dumbass hit a little hard considering I'm autistic, and so it's one of those things that oftentimes I have trouble communicating myself, and that's just the thing. Is if you come up to me in a confrontational manner, it disturbs my equilibrium. Yeah, I'm sure anybody in that situation could understand.
After you posted the sign, were you the one who took the photo and posted it?
No,
online?
No, I didn't take the photo. And I don't know who that is. And I can.
Oh my God. So this person who literally just put the sign up is getting the shit for someone else uploading it.
Understand how, obviously I wasn't speaking for the FDA. That was
Rosanna took the picture.
was just to look out for my community during a listeria outbreak. And the funny thing is like, had somebody bought one and been like, hey, we want to try Lunchly, I probably would have. And now I probably will never even touch the stuff.
As I'm talking to you right now,
that's good for you.
Casual, and I just don't understand why Logan Paul made fun of the way you talked. Like,
I was nervous, and ultimately I think that his goal was to use me as a commercial, and I'm a free commercial to the guy, and ultimately it was a dehumanizing thing to see myself used as a puppet, because that's exactly what he was doing. He was using me as a caricature, and while I have experience with that sort of thing in the past, being that my likeness has been used in like.
I think that that's such a good point as well, that Logan Paul being able to make this video, in it, he says how successful they are and how great the product is. So in turn, it's getting seen by a lot of people because of the drama aspect, but therefore he's promoting the brand, which sucks.
My friends' videos and stuff for film festivals. But like, and so like I'm used to that sort of thing because that has my consent, but this whole thing just, it came out of nowhere. And I was just like, cool, this guy uses me as a free advertisement. And anybody who knows me knows it absolutely isn't true. And apparently a lot of comments also agreed that they were like, dude, you're overreacting.
Yeah, were the photos of you and the store Logan shared in his video accurate?
They were, yeah. Yeah, he showed the front of my store, which if you can geotrack based off of handles and store fixtures, I'm pretty sure you can geotrack based off of that. So my safety is kind of, I feel, in jeopardy because he's got some pretty crazy fans. And like, I mean, I'm sure everybody does, but like when it comes down to it, it's one of those things that being that I just started my fatherhood role and I want to protect these kids that I'm looking after. It's one of those deals that I'm staying on edge pretty much all the time, even though I don't look like it. And that might be.
I mean, again, we talked about it at the start, but this added extra level of security being at risk because people will want to go to the store to then see this person that Logan Paul has posted about to make fun of them or whatever. And it just sucks. Like, there's no good reason for Logan doing this. Obviously, to make money, but you just have to wonder how bad of a person someone is to prioritize making money over someone else's, like, safety, their job, their whatever. Like,
Why I'm so calm right now is I'm also a little exhausted from it.
I'm so sorry. It really bothers me for you, who's someone who works at a store that sells food, and it's a very normal thing. It happens in food to have recalls here and there, and then you deal with it and you talk to the brand reps and you get back on the same page and you move forward. And just because a sign accidentally went up for 2 days, the reaction being so aggressive and potentially even like you having repercussions and potentially even losing a job, it just seems like a huge overreaction. And I am just really, disappointed.
so while this person is losing their job, losing their money, losing their hours, Logan Paul is gaining money from this person going through all this. Just to keep that in mind.
Wish Logan and the other people who own Lunchly, this is their brand, I wish that they would actually take those accounts of mold seriously and spend their energy, instead of just making their brand look good, but take that energy and why don't you hunt down the cases of mold?
The world will understand if the products that you put out have an issue. And the thing is that just as the world understands that sometimes grocers make mistakes and that ultimately I was okay with reprimandation over the mistake, but I'm not going to handle crucifixion over it. Like,
No.
that's just it. Is like, that's what he was aiming to do, was hang me out to dry, use me as a commercial and peddle his own brand. I understand the business practices of it, as unethical as it is. It's a smear campaign. And that's overall, I'm like, I understand if you want to do that towards Lunchables because they're your main competitor, but dude, I don't even know anything about you other than I stopped following you after the Suicide Forest thing. So what's your issue? So funny enough,
Where'd the other one go?
This had all happened.
They disappeared.
Hours maybe before. I had received a medical bill out of nowhere for $1,000, and so I'm like sitting there, I'm like, okay, what's this for? And turns out that it's because a year ago I had been in the ER for some heart issues. Heart was kind of beating irregularly at times. And it was right around the time that I had been promoted to the new Fred Meyer. So I have that. In addition to that, my car also took a crap on me about a month and a half ago. And has just been sitting. So I've been commuting by bike. And in addition to that, I also have a Malamute that had some of his hair fall out. So I had to bring him to the vet. And it turns out that he had, had some issues with his undercoat and stuff like that. So we had to get him groomed. But the whole process,
anything else
with all that stuff, it's just depleted my savings so much that I'm starting to get a little worried about my bills. And now that I'm suspended, it's making things a little bit more taxing, especially wanting to provide for children. It's Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. So it makes it a little hard to give them the things that they want, but luckily.
Right. All right. Okay. So here is my take on this. So I think this Stanley Cup always looks so fucking huge there. This is a huge learning lesson for influencers in general, that there is ramifications when you talk about people or when you expose people or when you whatever, that they are regular people living their own lives. And you have to take into account, did they sign up for what you're doing? Did they sign up for a comment section? Did they sign? No. Which is a reason that, like, if I personally ever talk about stories to do with people, I'll just not say their name or not allude to them at all or give them completely different characteristics. You know what I mean? They didn't choose to be publicized or platformed just because I want to talk about them. And Logan Paul did this maliciously. And I think it's really important to hear from the person and hear about their struggles and hear what they're going through and hear about the getting suspended and loss of money and stuff, because it shows you that, oh, that isn't just a little swipe by Logan Paul video. That's him literally trying to ruin someone's life for the sake of promoting his dumbass lunchly. So shout out to Ro for doing this interview. I think it's really important. I think it really just brings a different perspective of humanizing. And yeah, fuck Logan Paul, dude. So bad. I will see you in my next one. I hope you're all doing very well, and goodbye.